Lets you see waypoints for all fairy souls in the game. Just do /NEU souls on and follow the waypoints. This is amazing for finding all the fairy souls in the hub or other places, and is a great assistance if you're following a fairy soul guide on YouTube, and it's a great tool. The most important and most popular part of NEU is the item list. The item list is always up to date. It gets its information from servers. That lets you get all the latest information and not have to be updated to get the information. It lets you sort by craft cost, by category, and you can also save items to the top by pressing F. You could change all of the keybinds in the control menu of Minecraft, and NEU lets you change how the item list looks in the settings, as well as changing how it looks, such as showing vanilla items, disabling the item list, or making it always show. If you double click the search bar, it'll make only the items that you're searching for become visible. Just like the items list, there's options in the settings to modify how it works and where it is on the screen if you want to change something. Inventory buttons. If you type the /NEU buttons command, it lets you add buttons that send commands to the server about what you want to do. If you click the plus button, it'll show a menu that will let you add information to that button. In the command text box, put the command that you want the button to do. Apply the background color and the icon that you like the most. You can also use pre-made presets for buttons. Tooltip tweaks let you add a lot of information to the tooltips, which is the stuff that appears when you hover over your items, and the tweaks add price information, stats of the reforged stones sorted by rarity, and also how much pet XP you need to level the item up or which enchants you're missing. You can enable or disable slot locking in the NEU settings, which lets you lock items and stop you from pressing them. There's also slot binding, which lets you bind a slot in your inventory to a slot in your hotbar, which lets you quickly change which item you're holding in your inventory to quickly swap. Now, to bind things to different slots, you just hold L and then you click it to that one. If you just shift click it, it's going to go to the item that you binded. Now if you just do that again, it'll lock it and it'll remove the binding, and you could also do that with any items there. For example, if I want to do it with my tree capitator, I just hold L and I bind it to my livid dagger. If I just shift click it, it'll just move like that, which is a lot more convenient. Overlays are a huge part of the mod, which lets you see where the builders want to place blocks, where an ether warp would teleport you to, and also make teleportation movement smooth. There's also an overlay that adds farming information when you hold a hoe. There's also a to-do overlay that adds repeatable tasks that you could do every day to a list on top of your screen. There's also a storage GUI that makes accessing your ender chests and backpacks a lot easier. You just need to enable the settings and then open your backpacks. You need to double click the backpacks and ender chests though, so it doesn't break Hypixel rules. There's also a search bar. There's a lot of dungeon features in this mod, but you won't find any solvers in this mod. However, it has a dungeon map which you could customize. It also has a dungeon profit calculator, which includes the dungeon essence into the calculator, which you could sell through the bazaar. You could also enable dungeon block overlays, which highlight certain textures with color. NEU has a lot of cool features for mining. It adds waypoints to where you go, a fuel bar, and also a mining overlay. This works in the Crystal Hollows and the Dwarven Mine. And there's also a Crystal Hollows overlay, which has even more options for what to do. You could also use a solver for the puzzles and the daily puzzles, and it also tells you where titanium spawns. You could customize all of this. It also lets you retexture mithril and titanium if your texture pack lets you. NEU has a lot of features for fishing, which makes fishing a lot easier, which shows an exclamation mark that warns you when you're about to catch a fish, and also an optional sound for that. This also lets you change the colors of your fishing bobbers to be able to tell which is yours. Improved skyblock menus is an option to make skyblock menus look better by changing the color or making them transparent. You can play around with these settings, or you could just not enable them. NEU Customizer lets you customize how your item looks, including enchantment glints, custom names for the items, and also lets you add custom colors to the name of the item through color coding. This is client-side only, however. NEU has a profile viewer which lets you see the skills, net worth, ender chest, pets, heart of the mountain, catacomb level, collection, and whether or not the player of the profile is online. The older versions of NEU crash your game when you use this. You should use the latest pre-release from the Discord server. Calendars are notifications that show you when some events happen. This also shows on top of your inventory screen. NEU has a trade menu that makes it pretty much impossible to get scammed by showing the value of items so that you don't make mistakes and don't get scammed. Auction house tweaks make it harder to get scammed or making mistakes by accidentally setting an item for way too little or way too much. It also makes the auction house more usable by typing something in and clicking it. Accessory bag overlay shows which talismans you're missing. NEU also lets you short the damage for K or M for millions, or just customize it. NEU is a great mod, and you should definitely have it in your mod pack, but there's a ton of mod spaces.